Morning, everyone. Today's the 8th of January. This is Brad Matheny. And, the markets seem very disconnected around this apex, this yellow flag apex here. This is the SPY daily chart. This is the Plan Your Trade video. I was actually quite surprised to see this breakdown low yesterday take place. Now we're off, pre-market by just a little bit, 0.06%. Of course, all I'm getting are updates now. But this was a big breakdown. I mean, it really was. I've got a chart over here to show you. I mean, look at that. That's, just a plain, simple chart with some of my custom indicators on here. We're really quite choppy. I mean, when you come in here and you take a look at this from a standpoint of once it comes up, pen, crop, markup. Once you come in here and you take a look at this kind of flagging formation across here and across here, and I actually can draw it a little tighter across these areas and these areas, we're getting into that really volatile A, B, C, D, E should be rolling out. Well, you know what? We're rolling into this volatility right now. I do believe that the cycle patterns are accurate, that they are going to continue to prompt. The markets are going to attempt to rally back out of this into the inauguration. It seems really ugly right now, but the real reality is the markets are setting up higher lows in this flagging formation, and it's part of trading. As much as it hurts, sometimes this type of volatility can really be difficult, which is again why when you come back over here, I urged everyone to start trading very small quantities back in this area. I hate to be the I told you so, but we're not out of this mode yet. This volatility is coming in. Yields have to settle. The Fed is actually, as I mentioned earlier, acting in somewhat of a predatory manner. As long as the data comes out and continues to support a fairly strong U.S. economy, which right now doesn't look like anything's really going to change. I mean, I'm expecting somewhere between a 12 and a 16.5% rally in the SPY this year, believe it or not, simply because I think we're going to get a pretty good move out of it. So I think we're going to see a nice little rally out of this. So when we look at the SPY cycle patterns, we've moved into our first real big rally day. Given the fact that we're off a little bit in trading this morning, SPY here 588.45 compared to yesterday's close at 586 88.63. We're off 0.03%. I'm not super worried. I mean, I think that this is gonna recover. Let me go down here to a 1 hour, and you can see this. I'll show it to you on the SPY or on the ES. Oop. No, I don't want my notes. So I think we're really looking at this kind of a recovery rally. And you can see yesterday, I highlighted the A and B levels here. And what I'll do is I'll just copy them and drag them down. Oops, wrong one. And what I will say again here is a breakdown level, roughly 587.30, let's call it 587.45, and a bullish level, very likely going to be up here in the 590 area. So again, anything above this A is bullish, and anything below this B would likely continue to be bearish. I do believe, like I said, that the markets have been gyrating through these last couple of days. Remember, we had the 6th, we had the 7th, then open up again up here and weaken. I really think if you look at this move, and let me get rid of this and come over here. I really think if you really consider what's going on with Biden, I heard that he's still signing laws. We've had a 61.8% pullback, right to this level right here. This is a very solid basing and bottoming level. If the markets are going to base and bottom here, this is it. And then remember, we have our ultimate low back down over here. I changed this line to make it a dot. I'll go back here and make it bright red. But, that's really our line in the sand. Right down here is our line in the sand for a bearish trend. So this is going to be very interesting to see how this sets up here because we've got this first low and then we got this second low coming up off of this roll here. I think we're going to see a nice little rally finally set up here. And today could be the day that we get some kind of a nice big move back up into this 593, 594 or higher level, kind of wiping out this move here. If it were to happen the way I'm expecting, we might see something along the lines of, come up here, a rally taking place maybe down in this low and moving back right up into this low, 59 or high, 595, 596. You see, we got the last bullish trigger here. We've rolled into very volatile sideways flagging, still having a down cycle moving into an up cycle here. It would be as we work out this flagging formation that I drew earlier. Okay, I think we're going to move to a rally up into, like I said, the 608, 609, maybe 613 area. But, at this point, God only knows if something breaks in the market. I hate to say it, but, we could see these levels, these 580, 581 levels threatened. I don't believe that's going to happen moving into Q4 2024 earnings right now. But, Biden is still in office for another, 2 weeks. Who knows what he could do, literally. So we're going to just kind of play this out. Okay. So now QQQ, same thing. We're in rally phase, looking for the markets to really find some support. I kind of drew a lot of this yesterday. Don't want to get rid of too much. But really looking for support here. And you can see again the deep lows. Sorry about that. That's my buddy Kurt on my Discord channel. He's blowing things up today. So you can see these deep lows here, kind of like a left shoulder head and maybe right shoulder over here. We'll see. But, I had labeled this as a buy zone, expecting this to be a pretty good rally phase. We're actually up a little bit in pre-market. We could see, like I said, this try to rally back above yesterday's A zone, the bullish zone right here. And I would not be surprised to see that happen given the rotation in the market. Sudden closing of this gap. I mean, remember, we opened up Monday fairly strong, and then it's like I said, the bottom fell out of the market, and it's right at this apexing area where there's extreme volatility. So it would not, in my opinion, it would not be uncommon to see this roll higher. Now, I will give you A and B patterns again. Same kind of thing here. 513.71 would be our breakdown level. And roughly 516 and a quarter, 516.20 would be our breakaway level. So right here is our rally phase. Right here is our breakdown phase. So this is your A and B scenario. I expect a rally today. My cycle patterns are telling me we have a rally. And remember, we're still transitioning from this January 1st time frame up into this February 15th time frame, which means we should be plus 7%, maybe plus 8% by February 15th on the SPY, we should be from mid somewhere around 1.5 to negative, call it 1.5, up into potentially 6 to 7% upside move from the 487.43. That's from this level down here. So take a look. If I come up from this level, 487.43, 487, come on, there we go, close enough. Come back up into this area. There's 5, 6, 7. We should be up into this area, maybe a bit higher up into this area from this predictive modeling. This was modeling that was predicted quite a while ago. For the SPY, we should be up 7% from 571. So let's come back here to the SPY and come down here, 571. Yeah, and that puts us right up in the 610 area. So this number, this predicted range right here, done by my adaptive dynamic learning system for the modeling, predictive modeling forecast, suggests we're looking at a pretty good rally. You see these numbers here, 11, 9. So again, it could be higher, could be lower than these numbers, but I'm looking at these February 15th mid upper range. You can see that, when we go from lower range negative to positive, this means that generally around February 15th, we should be generally positive, maybe a little mixed in XLE, generally positive, big positive here from where we started over here, generally quite positive. And again, you can pause this to take a look at this. The idea here is that this is modeling. This is price predictive modeling done. Give you an example, 3.5 to 4.5 months in advance. I did this, remember, on October 27th, the weekend before the election. So it is very likely that we're going to see some sort of a nice little rally move between now and February 15th, causing the markets to move up. So, for example, we come over here. This is the ES overnight starting to rally. We come in here, take a look at XLB. Come in here to daily. And again, there's some of my custom indicators. So XLB is rolling, right? XLB should be moving up to plus 5 to 6.5% from 93.13. So from 93.13 over here, XLB should be attempting 93.13 right there roughly. That's 6.5%. That would put our target level right at this roughly 99.30 area. So given where we're at, XLB 6.5, 5, so maybe a little lower, maybe down in, let's call it 6%. 98.74 by February 15th, which means that we could be looking at a very solid roll up into this area by late January, early February. And again, that's a lot of my research suggests that we're moving into this rally topping phase. We'll see how it plays out. But again, it all depends on the dynamics of the market. If the Fed really screws things up, or if Biden does some funky things, we could be looking at a very ugly roll in the spider sectors, not counting the SPY as well. So understand that we could be looking at a very solid roll pattern here. We've got to see how this low holds up. If this low holds up, and we've got to see how this flagging that I drew out, and I drew it a little tight because of what's going on in the markets down here. But I truly do believe that flag right there is what we're dealing with right now. We're dealing with that apex volatility right in this area. And it looks like I said, now we're off 0.02, 0.03. And we're about an hour and a half or so hour before the market. So looking for a recovery rally here back up into the 595, 596 range today. I think that's very likely. We shall see. I mean, at this point, we shall see. Okay, let's go take a look at gold and silver. Nice little rally pre-market here. We've seen this. Both gold and silver have been struggling to try to break out of this kind of high range here. You can see silver having the same kind of an issue right across here. I think really that, if we get a pretty solid rally in metals today or through the next couple of days, I really think that gold and silver, like I said, I've been telling you this for weeks, but I think gold is really trying to move right back up to this 2720, 2710 area. There's my server. And I think that we're looking at a move back up into this area right over here. 2720, 2710, maybe a bit higher. And it may be that we have to get closer to the inauguration or at least past this flagging apex to get out of it. Now, we could come out here and look for, excess phase peak patterns. But like I said, it's going to stay within a range. So I'm going to come over here and get these to 4 hours and explain to you that we have already established a fairly broad range. And you can see it here. Here's our deep, deep lows. We've already established rejection down here. Here's our recent highs, trying to get above these levels. That's why this 3160 area is pretty solid. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the range that we have established that we have been unable to get out of. And here's our deep low over here with gold. Here's our recent ultimate high on gold. And here is the most recent little pullback low that's acting as current support right now, 2621. Mark that in a darker green for you. And here's our range. We have literally been struggling to get out of that range from 2720 to 2620 for the past, almost month and a half. And I believe that when it does break, I believe that when this does finally make the move higher, it's going to make a big explosive move higher. I mean, really, metals are going to just accelerate. And I think we're going to be looking at $3,000, 3,200 very quickly. But again, that's coming in time. Right now, we're rolling through this cycle phase where we're not getting any real support other than the fact that we're getting this apexing pattern. And like I said, come in here. Nope, come in here. It's a matter of riding through this apexing pattern to catch the next trend. And that's very true with, as I come over here, same thing. Apexing pattern. It's very true that we're riding through this apex mode, the volatility that sets up with it, and looking for a rally into the inauguration area. So this is that apex volatility setting up from this big collapse, the anomaly event. And I believe the anomaly event really is just continuing to play out until we get past this apexing event. Now, understand that we could end up in another kind of an apex formation, coming from here potentially to here, kind of setting up another apexing. So if we come into this and set this up as very light blue, what would happen in this case? Well, guys, we would count it out. Fine, I'll leave it as brush. We would count it out as an A, B, C, D, and then possible E move here. So it could be that we have to wait out here until the 9th or the 10th to get the real move. But again, this sets up that same apexing zone. And like I said, those apex zones can be very, very volatile. So you need to kind of be aware that what's happening right now is we're rolling through this volatility zone trying to find support and a breakaway. Okay. Lastly, let's come over here to Bitcoin. Down 1600. Wow, look at that move. Let's go over here to 2 hour. Oh, I forgot to show you gold and silver. Hold on. So gold and silver patterns are in a rally phase again into accumulation. This is a carryover trend, looking for some real support over here. Move up in gold would indicate that, hedge markets are trying to protect against market risks. But, we're getting in that rally phase with a crush pattern potentially on the 10th in gold. And then we're getting into this rally phase into the SPY and the QQQ. So I'm looking for the markets to actually give up on some of this volatility and move into a rally phase. Now, where we're at, we reached our dual, let's call it apexing formation. I highlighted this earlier in this week's video. Move this to front. This is very interesting in the sense that this was an overlapping excess phase peak pattern. Kind of the first time I've highlighted this to you guys, but whenever you get, a flagging formation like this, then a breakdown, retests the lows, moves into a new flagging formation. Once you get into that overlap zone where I highlighted, normally that acts as very strong resistance or support. Now, at this point, we've broken down below my breakdown level. What we're going to be looking at here, guys, is we're going to be looking for Bitcoin to attempt to find any support down over in this area. And really, it comes down to, is it going to hold up and find support down here at 92, 250 or 300, as I've indicated here, or is it going to break down? And I would say probably breakdown would be 90,700. And if it does break down, as I mentioned to you before, we're going to be moving into that 72,000 possible area for support. So be aware that we're going to be likely seeing a real test of this level in the near future, potentially breaking all the way down to this 72, 73,000 area if this support level can't hold at 92,300. Very interesting how this dual overlapping excess phase peak flag pattern set up a big, beautiful top here. And again, that's why I try to teach this stuff to you. I want you to become better at seeing these and understanding where we're at. Now, understand that we still have the ultimate high up here taking place. I'll drag this out. We still have the ultimate low down here. I'll drag this out. Make it red. This is our bottom line, and this is the range right here, ladies and gentlemen. There's the same range bound sideways consolidation channel that we are playing within. Okay. And I mean, literally, I could come down and drag it to this high now if I wanted to. It's the most recent ultimate high, so I could bring it down into here, and I could set up a new ultimate high level coming right across here. Why is that our new ultimate high? Because that's the most recent high price rotation or fractal top formation that has not been touched within the last 25 to 40 bars. Typically, it's the way it works. So I've gone over this many, many times. You can check out the trading view videos. There's all kinds of trading view videos about Fibonacci price theory and the mechanics of trading that I've created for you. I mean, if you come over here, I think I've got it here. Yep, here we go. So if you go to my ideas, and it says here you can filter ideas. So you can, nope, search by symbol. I think there's a way to search, show all tags. I might have done Fibonacci in here. Let's find it. Fibonacci, FIBONA, FIBO. Oh, spelled it wrong there. Let's see what we have. Only the one. So, clear. How do I clear? Back to my ideas, published. 7576. How do I get rid of these tags? Show less. I thought there was a way to search in here. Commented, followed, boosted, followers. Well, this is me. But again, I don't know how to search. I don't play a lot of time searching my stuff here. But mechanics of trading, I did. Let me see if I've got those listed as mechanics or metals, miners, marijuana, macro, long term. Yeah, I probably should have labeled them a little differently. But these also get posted up to my other video channel. Let me just put it that way. And I know it has searches. But again, I want to write to someone here and try to actually suggest that they put in a search criteria. Because, like I said, it seems unusual that you can get here, but you can't search through 100 videos. Okay, I'm going to just leave it there. And we're looking at, like I said, a bit of a rally phase. Hopefully that happens. Bitcoin is, like I said, in a bit of a breakdown. We need to see how this plays out because this breakdown phase could be fairly dangerous for Bitcoin. Likely, a secondary likelihood is that we come right back down to this area base again and try to set up another flagging formation. So, like I said, the markets are struggling right now to get out of their way. And I hate to say it, but, if you look at a 4-hour chart and you spread all this out and you come to me and you go, Brad, what do you think is actually happening? Well, I've kind of highlighted the fact that, we could have reached a high here. We could move into kind of a sideways downward flagging formation, kind of like this, over the course of the next, 5-6 months, struggling to kind of just get out of our own way before we finally build momentum and break out of it. So, longer term, the fact that we're not trending and we're struggling within this range kind of means to me that maybe the euphoric phase is over and we're going to struggle into congestion. And remember, this could be a very broad, like an excess phase peak pattern rolling down into flagging into this type of formation. And that to me would be a fairly broad indication that we are not breaking down, we're not collapsing, but we could be moving into a very broad, kind of, I would say, weekly. Try to get this over here for you. Kind of a weekly formation here where There's our big rally. This is all of the intraday work that I've done. But now we hit a peak. We roll down into this sideways flagging channel, and then we reach this level, this potential low level right over here, right over in this area, bringing us into this upward flagging mode here and here. And, that could be a very strong outcome. Remember, we have this ultimate high level here, which is still playing. And we have this current ultimate low level down over here. Grab it, drag it out. So if we were to roll through a flagging scenario, this would be essentially a rolling price trend, setting up new low after new low after new low until we finally found a base. And the base may come, here or down over here, probably more closer to the end of June, in the sense that, we'd be looking for something like this maybe to happen, because we would need to get through Q1 and Q2 before we see some real base potentially setting up. But again, this could be a very large excess phase peak pattern setting up a flagging formation like this coming across. And I just want you to be aware that we could be looking at a long slog going forward. Okay, going back to the SPY, let's see what happens today. Remember, we've got a holiday trading day tomorrow for Jimmy Carter. So if I remember right, futures, I don't know, because it's an emergency kind of a thing, but more than likely we're going to see futures still trade, but the stock market closed. So we'll see how that works out. And like I said, the markets are opening fairly flat today. This is daily in. Remember, we are in a rally pattern today. So even though the markets have been extremely volatile and going against what I've been suggesting is actually going to happen with these last couple of days, I think we're looking at a big exhaustion pullback here, and get rid of some of these. And what we're looking at now potentially is a bit of a rally phase back up into this 594, 595, maybe a little higher, I would hope today. So we'll see how this plays out, guys. Talk to you later.